from your perspective, where's the best place to start?
Okay. Well, I think everything that happened was kind of like a divine thing. And honestly, if it weren't for the pandemic, we might have never seen Twitch at all. Because Derek and I were actually settling into our careers of what we thought would be for the rest of our lives.
As streamers, I've been a long-term Twitch viewer when I've been into a video game. Then there's been 3 main times I've come to Twitch: StarCraft, Destiny, Tarkov. And those are 3 times I've come back to Twitch because I got super into a game. But I never thought to be a streamer.
Yeah. But we started making things. Well, I started making things. I mean, from the time that I was born. But Derek got super into the hookah world, and you can take over for this.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, hookah is a traditional Middle Eastern way to smoke flavored tobacco. It's just tobacco. It's not anything else. It's totally legal, just to clear the air on a couple of things. And we got into it. Devyn and I, it was a hobby of ours to just hang out and, have a smoke and just chill. It was like the one time Devyn and I sat still is when we had a hookah going in front of us, because you can't carry it around.
Good philosophical conversations over some hookah.
Yeah.
In
our younger years, we actually don't even really smoke at all anymore. At all. So, but it was one of the things that definitely brought us together and had us, just enjoy each other's company like we get to do every day now on stream. But I was in apparel manufacturing. That's what I was doing professionally that I loved, that I wasn't going to leave. As a part of that, I was an executive assistant. I did everything that needed to be done for my boss. I did, except get in the sewing line and make stuff. And so I got annoyed that I wasn't allowed to make anything. I was like, I'm going to start making things. I never made anything in my whole life outside of what I was like forced to do in elementary school. And I made some hats because I wear, as most people know, I wear a hat almost every day, whether it's a beanie or a snapback. And I made some hats, and then I bought some leather to make some more hats. And then I made this hookah hose.
Did you ever make a leather hat?
Nope.
You never made a leather hat.
I never made a leather hat. I made this hookah hose instead. This cursed object is what I made. It's pieced together with things that are not big enough. It doesn't even come together at all.
Amazing.
My stitching doesn't come together at all. It was not good, but it looked cool. And I was involved. My first part of content creation was being involved in the hookah community, and the hookah community we were involved in said, that's pretty cool, you should keep doing that. And then we kept making them, and then they started to look like painted and stuff, because I got Devyn in on painting them. And obviously this is what a first quality product looks like, where it all comes together and it's nice and smooth and even.
Yeah.
And Devyn started painting them, and that's how we started getting into the mixed media stuff that we're most known for. Where I do leatherwork and Devyn paints. And, we made content, and then the pandemic happened, and we had a company actually like attack our business. They copied us, and then they mass reported all of our links and stuff, and got our website banned on Facebook, on Meta, so on Facebook and Twitter. And I was streaming on, just casually streaming on Facebook to our business page, because that's the hookah groups that I first learned content creation in were based in Facebook. So I streamed there because that's where our customers were. And then that happened, and I was like, well, why are we here? My friend Shweevy, our long-term mod and friend of mine from college, was like, they do art on Twitch, right? And I was like, wait, what? Like, I've always gone to Twitch for gaming. Like, I didn't know this happened, this existed. And that's when we had lost our jobs and everything. So we were full-time while also trying to find work and on unemployment.
We were forced into full-time, but because of the pandemic, people were not spending any money on any luxury items, and that's what we sold.
Right.
And so not only did we go full-time, but we had like a year waiting list of art that just depleted. It was gone. Yeah. So we're like, now we're full-time. We have no work, and we're bored, and we're looking for jobs. We can't get jobs.
And then I was streaming out of boredom.
Yeah.
I was also video chatting with her all day out of boredom. We were here in the same basement that didn't look like a studio back then. It is still an unfinished basement, even though it doesn't look like it anymore.
Right.
But Devyn started messing around with resin for the first time. And I was learning other leather working things. Like I made my first ever wallet, stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess in the beginning of the pandemic too, I got a 3D printer because I was bored. I got resin because I was bored. I was craving to do something.
And we didn't have our, even though we were full-time artists technically, because it was our only income, we had lost, like Devyn said, our wait list. What made us popular and successful in that industry was our wait list for custom art. But like Devyn said, people weren't smoking for obvious reasons, and people weren't spending money on luxury items for obvious reasons.
Right.
And so we, on a whim, like we were on video chat like 10-hour days, Devyn and I. We were just being creative and doing whatever. Yeah. And just sitting on video chat all day long.
Yeah.
And
I was learning how to use resin for no reason. I don't know what my goal was, but I was making coasters and this and that, like whatever I could do to do something.
Right.
Because I couldn't go outside. That's what we were trying to do. Yeah. I even got this camera because I was like, I'll film some things. I don't know. That had nothing to do with streaming.
It worked out.
We were just so bored. Yeah.
Wow.
And
for the first time in our lives, by the way, for the first time, I feel like in our entire lives, we were like, what the heck are we going to do? For the first times, boredom came about. Yeah. That never happened to us.
And Twitch literally saved that boredom because I don't we don't watch television. We don't watch movies. We weren't allowed to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. We saw each other because we're neighbors. We had our own little bubble. Mm-hmm. Devyn and I and the family, because we were neighbors. We could like that. We had that. But like the one thing I do watch was sports. Sports were shut down. And so all that was left was Twitch. And I got super into Escape from Tarkov. It's a ridiculous game. It's not for everybody, but I got super into it. So I was watching like crazy hours of Tarkov. I built my first PC to play Tarkov. I started streaming a little bit, like I always had. I'd always done some like live streams inside the Facebook groups. I'd always been the front of our business. Devyn never wanted to be the front. She wanted me to take on that role, and she would do whatever she needed to behind the scenes. And then, one day she's like, well, why don't I just stream with you? And I was like, are you feeling okay? Like, that's not you. The first time she was ever on a live stream, I thought she was going to go be sick.
I was.
Really?
She was so nervous to be on a live stream with me. Because I'd done a couple interviews in the hookah world. And like after the third time, someone asked me if I'd bring her on. I was like, listen, I'll try. And I got her on. But man, she was so nervous that one time. And that was probably 6-7 years ago now.
Yeah.
I think it may have been even more than that. I can tell you what, I got off of that podcast or whatever it was, and I went down and I laid down on the couch, and my dad brought me a banana. He's like, I think you need this. And I was like, I think I need this too.
And even when I built that PC, it was my only source of entertainment.
Yeah.
I carried it to Devyn's house to start streaming. And I carried it home because if I didn't, I'd be literally twiddling my thumbs. And did it every single day for over 3 months to start our streaming careers. Wow. And we treated it as if it was our full-time job at that time, because it was.
We were pretending to get ourselves out of boredom, and it freaking worked.
Yeah. And, we were full-time artists, but we didn't really, and we were now full-time streamers, even though neither were truly a reality yet.
Right.
And we treated it as such. We acted as if, and we treated it as if it was our job. And we did that. Then we could afford a PC. Then I'd have to carry it home every day. Mm-hmm. Killed that PC, by the way. Absolutely ran that PC into the dirt in a matter of like 8 months. And it spawned all of this. All of those things.
That's incredible.
Had to happen to be here. Every single one.
It's amazing that like circumstance can force you into this situation that you never probably would have expected or had planned on doing, and then it becomes your everyday or your reality. Now you're here, you're full time. You've built an incredible community and channel, and it all kind of just came from you're getting bored. There was nothing to do, and I really appreciate, you saying, yeah, we were treating it like full time because we had nothing else to do, and now that's just part of your life. That's like what you do now. What were those like early days like when you two started streaming together? What were those streams like? What were you doing, and how would they go?
We were the Moses sibling studio sesh.
The Moses sibling studio sesh.
So
I think it's what the initial title was before it's what it is now that everybody knows us as.
Let's take it back. This basement was empty, completely empty. I had one of these. You can see behind me. One of those I had upstairs in one of our bedrooms, and that held all my art supplies. I brought it down here because I was like, I feel like we need furniture in this stream. And I bought the table that we still sit at today. So we didn't even have one. And we use these old TVs that we still use.
Yeah, we're still using them.
That's
if you want to see how old our TVs are, hold on.
Yes.
That one's not that old, but these two are 20 years old. And they're still our TVs.
That's incredible.
It's still what we use.
That's what we use.
It's still what we use.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get back to that other scene.
I love it.
But anyway, that's literally what we bought to start streaming. And what did it look like? We were pretty quiet. I remember back in those days.
Well, Devyn was nervous. She still, I was in my comfort zone, but Devyn wasn't. And like what makes MoCoMade special is we are a 2-person stream, which you don't see often. But like we really aren't just siblings and business partners. We're best friends. And our interaction brings out the best in each other. And also we're each other's comfort people.
Yeah.
And she wasn't comfortable yet.
Right.
Well,
no, we used to stream for 4 hours. That was our schedule. And when we were done, both of us were wiped. I mean, we were exhausted.
Yeah.
You remember?
Oh my God. We would get off 4 hours and be like, I'm going to go to sleep. I am tired. Because people in our sphere understand it. They get what streaming is. But anyone outside of this sphere thinks it's not a real job. And they don't understand how it can drain you when you are on stream.
Especially when
you're not putting on a show, but or a persona, I should say. It is a show, but it's not a persona.
How would you explain that to someone who has no idea what it's like to do what we do?
Well, anytime I tell them what I do, they think I'm in the adult entertainment industry. And I'm like, oh God, you've got me so wrong. Like, have you ever seen me even dress a little bit risque? Like, come on.
I just thought of something. I've never responded this way, but let's face it. There's not a lot of people I know that will want to even get on a phone call with someone these days.
It's
because
true.
That's stressful. It's anxiety driven. It drains them.
Yeah.
All right. Now imagine choosing to do that for 4 hours straight, like we started, and then now 6 hours every day.
Yeah.
Now it's not that. It doesn't feel that way to us. We are phone call people. If I need Devyn and she doesn't answer my text, I'm calling her. But like, if lots of people don't like getting on the phone, well, imagine that and
times a million
times a 6-hour phone call.
Yeah,
that's how it can drain
with
you
multiple people.
When you're having a conversation now at first it was with a couple of people, then it was 10, then it was 20, 30. Now it's over 100 every single day.
Yeah,
and people don't. I bet if you tell someone who doesn't know Twitch that, they get it. They get it immediately.
Yeah, I don't even try to explain.
You're just like, it's a lot.
I seriously never thought of that example until just now on this stream.
The problem is we're the best of all of the stigmas, right? Because not only are we full-time streamers, but we're full-time artists.
Mm-hmm.
So first you tell them you're a full-time streamer and their first thing is, well, how do you make money? I'm like, well, actually I'm a full-time artist. Same question. How do you make money?
Yeah, they ask it.
It's so, we fit all of the stigmas here, and it's hard to tell somebody what you do. Everybody here gets it.
Yeah.
But anybody on the outside, they just don't understand.
Yeah.
They do not understand.
But our studio looked like a basement. It looked like a dungeon when we started. I mean, it was just bare walls. You could barely see
furniture. There was an echo. We had no idea how to use oh
my God. Microphone. You know how loud we are? We had no limiter on our microphone the first year.
Oh, so you'd be peaking all the time and
not just
this is still a basement.
It was bad.
Still basement.
No, this is a basement.
Like a studio.
Yeah, this is still a basement.
We're talking unfinished concrete floors. If you look over in that corner, you can see the unfinished walls. We've just, over the course of 4 years, been fortunate to be able to put things in here that make it feel homey. But back then when we started, it was wholly a basement.
Yeah, a bare.
And there was nothing around but a basement and a couple of cameras and that computer I carried here, and that's it.
That's just being more and more in touch with your natural self.
Listen, it's a little cold down here, okay? It's a little cold down here. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a little chilly if you can't tell. Devyn's sitting on a heated blanket. I got a winter hat on. It's not the most comfortable thing, but it is our comfort zone, for now. But it's not our forever.
Yeah. That's really how it started. And then like just slowly, I guess we started taking our earnings and building out the studio. But back then it was very loud. We had no limiter. We used a microphone, a $5 microphone that I got from Walmart for my work.
Right.
And
I only sewed hookah hoses. That was the only thing I was capable of making back then.
Right.
Now, anyone who knows us now might not have ever seen me make a hookah hose on stream.
Yeah, it's
legitimately.
True. Yeah.
And that's crazy to think about, because when we started, we made a niche product that was for 3 people in our chat who followed us over from the hookah community. Anyone else who met us and watched us because of us and because they appreciated our art, but not because of what they were going to buy our art or because they were going to use our art. And that was always a limiting factor. We knew it was, both for streaming and for our art careers. Neither could work forever that way, making that product.
Right.
And now, we make a gazillion products, and basically none of them are hookah related.
Right.
None of them are.
What was that like transitioning from like these early things that you were focusing on and then realizing there's other stuff that you wanted to do?
So like I remember it was May of 2021. It was 7 months into our streaming career. I said it on stream that thanks to the growth of the stream and that, paying us and that continuing to grow,
right,
it gave us the flexibility to explore and not with the pressure of necessarily selling right away. And I said that in that month. I remember it, and then it happened. It was happening, and it's continued to happen ever since. And that's been what's afforded us. Now, Devyn's always been an artist,
Yeah.
And she's got canvas pieces behind her that are originals up for sale, and she's always painted, but I've never made anything until I started this journey.
Yeah.
So it was the community, just like it's always been the community, whether it's been hookah or now on Twitch, it's always been what's afforded the opportunity to explore. But now the MoCo community has afforded us the ability to explore all of art. And the more our stream grows, the future of MoCoMade stream itself really is an exploration of art and just pushing boundaries of art rather than necessarily pressuring for commissions and stuff like that. That is our future. That's what we want to do. We want to learn together and use our platform to just learn stuff about art and making and life and business.
I would have ended up in a cycle. I'm throwing things. I'm sorry. I would have ended up in a cycle of boredom if we were stuck to hookahs for the rest of our lives anyway.
Same.
That's not the type of art. Honestly, that's not the type of art that I wanted to do forever. It's just the art that was bringing in an income that I relied on.
Right.
And same.
And I was good at it, so I did it. And people wanted that art, so I did it. But that's not really where I wanted to be forever, I love graphic design and painting graphically, and I got to do that on a bunch of hookah hoses, but I wanted to do that on clothing, and I wanted to do that on canvases, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no matter what, I think we would have
240 stitches of a straight line around a silicone tube over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
I've done thousands of them.
Yeah.
It was just something that fell in my lap that I learned to do. But like, it's meditative for me to do that because I can do it with my eyes closed and I can really just kind of disconnect even from whatever I'm doing. So I love making them. It is a meditative experience to sew something that I know just has to go down a straight line.
Yeah.
But it's not a fulfilling one creatively.
Right. I think fulfillment is what I'm getting from both of you here when you're talking about, those early days of kind of doing what made sense for you at the time in the best possible way. And then as you grew, you were seeking that fulfillment, trying to figure out like, how can we get to that point doing the things that you both enjoy.
Totally.
Yeah.
We're very like go with the flow and just ebbs and flows and adapt to the changes kind of people.
And permanent decisions. Like, I hate permanent decisions.
Yeah.
I like to live my area in a shade of gray. I'm live my life in a shade of gray.
Right.
And so, like, anytime something has to be black or white, it's like I avoid that at all costs.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to.
I kind of feel like you need to be that as a streamer. It's a scary place as a streamer if you operate in black and white and become stuck in the black and white. Mm-hmm. Because like, what happens if you succeed in a game and you're now full time and that game goes away? That game's no longer popular. You might still love that game, but if your viewer base doesn't, then what do you have? Like, you watch, you can, if you're so set on one thing and you can't adapt to the change in the ebbs and flows, then it can lead to burnout so quickly, because then you feel like you have to do the one thing and you're no longer just bringing to get to the table yourself and whatever it is you want to do that day. And it can burn you out. And, you know, what got us here is what we preach to everyone all the time. You just got to stop talking about doing and just go do it. Just go do it. And Absolutely. It might not be perfect. It might not be right. You might make mistakes. We've made lots of them. Lots of mistakes. I mean, this whole entrepreneur journey started as with our first one as a medical scrub company with our mom. That was our first business. Nothing like what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. But we just kept doing. It's a lot
harder to mentally to change things if you feel like you're starting at a perfect point, right? Yeah. Like, everyone wants their stream to be so perfect before they start. Right. They get the highest end monitors and the highest end camera and the highest end microphone and lighting and all this crap. Yeah. And then they feel like it's perfect. And then when they start, it's a lot harder for them to make changes on the fly because they feel like what they have is perfect. You know what I mean?
Or they have such a professional looking setup, but they're struggling to bring in viewers. Well, you're not struggling to bring in viewers because your setup doesn't look good, but you haven't been streaming to build the momentum to bring in those viewers.
Right.
And you could have the best looking setup. You could do everything right. It doesn't mean you'll succeed at anything, by the way, in life, business, whatever. You could be the best artist in the world and not succeed as a professional artist.
Oh, we talk about that.
It's just you can do all of these things, but if you don't just do the things that you need to be doing first, then and stay consistent with that, then none of the other good stuff can fall into place.
I don't think streaming is luck at all.
I don't agree with that. I disagree with that.
I think what people think is, or what they're hoping for, is that they strike that pot of gold and that luck, and they get that one raid of 15,000 people, changes their life forever. When people press like go live, not me, I didn't know what Twitch was. That's not fair. But normal people, when they press go live, they are praying that overnight success happens.
Yeah.
That's what people say when they think of luck. Even when we started, people think that we just got lucky. But what you see is the very tip of the iceberg coming out of that water. You don't see the 10 years of Derek and I being entrepreneurs, building our network, building our skills, building our, business repertoire, all of the things to get to then pressing live, and then the years of networking here and building this community. It's not luck.
Big raids are
misunderstood
awesome.
And
luck. They'll lead to some of the greatest moments of your life on this platform. But having a gigantic raid is like 1 out of 1 million times actually changing the trajectory of your career as a content creator. What changes your trajectory is the consistency of showing up, growing. And then big raids come in, and guess what? You can capitalize a little bit on that big raid. Right. But we've had huge raids. And they have brought in new community members, but you don't just become an overnight success. And I do think a lot of people are not necessarily streaming because they love streaming, but they're streaming because they're obsessed with the idea that something like that can happen one day because they're playing a game that they love, and then they'll be able to play that game that they love for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And that's, I understand why, but it's very misguided to think that you're streaming because you love the video game you're playing, not because you love streaming and the video game that you're playing. Right. And you might get that rate. You might. You might not. You might get it. It's not gonna, but it likely, in the smallest of percentages, is going to change things. And that's something you have to know. But I don't think people understand that. Ben's making a visit. He didn't know I was here.
Wait, I just want to say something really quick. I was actually hanging out with someone last night who they came in and the dogs went crazy. This is the first time meeting them, and of course I'm in the studio, so I'm like, just run downstairs, run down into the basement. So they come down here, and I guess I was with my best friend, and she told them what I did, but I guess he just didn't understand the scope. So he comes down, he's like, I used to stream. He's like, and I was like the first of my friends that got affiliate. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And then I just like stopped growing. And I was like, well, what did you do? And he's like, well, I quit. I'm like, well, that's why you stopped growing. Oh my God,
yeah. And it happens all the time, right?
Yes,
it happens to everyone who, at some point, they get that potential influx where they're like, okay, cool, I finally did this thing. I hit affiliate. And then they get frustrated that nothing changes, which can be for a variety of reasons, right? It could be anything. It could be them not trying different things. It could be people get like, it's all these other factors that play into it, and then they get frustrated and they just stop.
But
and stopping is the worst. That's where the snowballing happens.
You just have to keep going. The thing is, like, you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and just keep going, because you can't just hit a milestone and think your life it's completely changed, and when it doesn't, you get discouraged immediately. Mm-hmm. You just have to keep trying to hit that next milestone. But if you quit, you're never going to see success. You know, success doesn't come by quitting.
But it is a problem that people believe. They do believe that they're obsessed with that idea that something's going to happen, and all of a sudden they can just play the game they love the rest of their lives. And they're doing it for the wrong reasons, and they're not doing it maliciously. They're just doing it because they're just ignorant. They don't know. They don't understand how it actually works.
Right.
And they're not. They don't know if they really love streaming. But if you don't really love streaming and bring that energy that you love what you're doing to the table every single day, that energy is felt. The art of streaming is controlling a vibe, and that vibe can be felt whether you consciously feel it or subconsciously feel it. The room knows it. And that you won't grow if you're doing it for that reason, even if you do get that rate.
Yogurt,
if you do get that rate you're thinking of.
Like, making those genuine connections is so important at the beginning. Derek and I talk about this all the time. There's no easier way or place to network than Twitch, because you're just making friends. You just find your people, genuinely make connections with them, and you're literally just making friends, which then friends support friends. You know, it's very obvious when you're making friends because you want viewers, and you're making friends because you want a friendship. Yeah. It is so different. It's noticed, it's felt, and it's the easiest place to do it.
We're both business graduates and like entrepreneurs first before artists and streamers.
Right.
And you know, we bring that conversation to the table all the time. We love talking about, we're very silly, but we love talking about art, business, those kinds of things, because we like that we're a hub for that information. And Devyn is, you know, spot on about that. Like,
well, think about building a network.
Business networking sucks.
Have you ever tried to build your network through LinkedIn?
Yeah,
because that
exactly
shit is hard, you know, because everybody knows exactly why you're reaching out.
Why you're doing that.
They know you're reaching out because you want to add them to your Rolodex, right?
Or you're going to a conference where you have to talk to all these people that are doing the same job that you're doing, and because that's how you're networking. Yeah. Or you're going to cocktail hour that I just mentioned. Like, that stuff sucks. That sucks. But going into more and more channel, who's building some cool Lego and getting to talk to about that, like that's awesome. That's easy.
Just getting people to talk to you on LinkedIn, like literally. That's what I'm trying to say. Everyone says, "Oh gosh, it's so hard to network on Twitch." I'm like, "Well, have you seen LinkedIn?
Yeah. Have you done business networking of any kind?
Oh yeah,
network anywhere else because
hard.
Twitch is so freaking easy.
And we're not saying that it's easy to grow on Twitch or that it's easy to network anywhere.
It's easy to make friends here.
But it's way easier to network here. Yeah, it's way easier to network here.
It's easy to find your people, right? You growing up, you're stuck to your locale. You're stuck in your county with your high school and your whatever. You can't drive. You don't, especially us growing up, we didn't have all this technology. And it was harder then to find your people. Now you can go on Twitch and put a keyword of something you're interested in, and 5 out of 10 times, I'm not going to say 10 out of 10, you're going to find someone that you vibe with.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
We're not, and I want to just clarify, we're not saying it's easy to grow on Twitch.
No.
The large majority.
It's easy to find your friends, which help you.
But when you talk about networking, like it is the easiest way to network when networking means just making friends or finding people with similar passions and interests. You know, that's where our community is built upon people sharing their passions. That's what our community is built upon. Our favorite thing about people is that they nerd out about the thing that they love and they want to come share it with us and talk about it and be like, be shown for it, noticed for it. That's our favorite thing. When someone's passionate about something, you can see it in their eyes. You can see it you can hear it in their voice. You can see it in their eyes. And it's the greatest gift to provide a safe space for people to share those passions. Because one of the things we've learned is, I would say over 75% of our community that are on the artist side of things never had someone in their lives, anyone, family included, that appreciated their passion for what they were doing. And because they didn't have that, they didn't ever pursue it or develop it or grow it because no one ever encouraged them.
Yeah.
And our space is that for them for the first time. And that's sad that's been their case, but also I'm so grateful that we can provide that space for people because man, it's the greatest thing. People are being encouraged for the first time, and all of a sudden they're selling art now. They never thought they could do that before, but they always had it in them. They just never had a support system that was willing to tell them, like, this is good, and whether you want to do this professionally or not, you should keep doing this because it's awesome. It's great. Everybody should make art. Lego is art too. Like,
do you want us to answer questions in the chat?
Absolutely.
Okay. I was just wondering because I saw a question, but I don't know.
Yeah, no. You want to take a second and which one?
Leela asked, but what about the people that try to use you or have hidden motivations? How have you dealt with those over the years?
With a smile.
So that has happened, and to be honest, it's very obvious in a room full of a lot of friends that are supporting each other. The odd one out, the one that's just trying to, suck that out of the community instead of put that into the community. I think every streamer will tell you that they can pretty much tell, but there have been times where we haven't. Yeah. And there have been times where we've been bamboozled by people that we thought would be our friends forever. And how do we deal with it? It's really hard. It's really hard. It's like breaking up. But you do it because you need to save your own space. You need to protect your own community.
The ones that we thought were close friends. That stuff's hard. That is hard.
The ones
There's no way around
just trying to use you as, it just goes, let them, they go away. They never come back.
And listen, people, I will say, people think that we miss things in the chaos and silliness of who we are on stream. But we're in tune with everything. We see everything, and we make those notes, and we understand what's going on. But those people will oust themselves and make it so obvious, like Devyn said. And listen, they know what they're doing, and we know what they're doing, even if they don't think we do. And when they get so uncomfortable when you just smile and treat them just like everybody else, which is what we do. We treat everybody the same. Everybody gets treated the same, even if we believe they have ill intentions. But I've watched people be super uncomfortable knowing that we were around, knowing that they had ill intentions with, using our community, for lack of a better word. When you just smile back at someone, know what they're doing, know to keep your space, but also know to be respectful. That's the best. Like, not everybody has to be friends here. Everybody thinks, oh, the art making space, everybody should be friends. No, that's a silly concept because it's thousands of people. Not everybody could be friends, but everybody should show respect.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. And we show respect to everyone, whether they show it back to us or not. There's people who don't show that respect to us and our community.
There's been plenty of people. We have had people,
but we always show it back.
Like,
always.
Every day, because they know that we're going to promote them and something really cool that they have going on. And then Derek and I realized, like, they weren't even following us. Like, they came in every day to promote something, and we hyped them up, and we got them to win this thing. And they never even followed. It's like silly stuff. Just have some respect. It's obvious when you don't. And that's kind of what I'm going to say. Just protect your space. And if something is really bothering you, then it's for good reason, and you should follow your gut and intuition.
You have to be the first one that's comfortable in your space. If you're not, no one else coming in will be. And if it's bothering you, it's likely bothering other people. And it's hard at first. We fell into, like Devyn said, a really difficult situation with people we thought were ride or dies because we knew what was happening, but we didn't take action because we were worried about what would happen. If we did.
What would it look like? They're so well respected and people love them and they've been in the community.
But they don't know what they're doing to us. They don't know what we're doing to us. But
protect your space always.
So like you always have to do what you need to do for your own community to make you comfortable first.
Yeah. It gets easier, trust me.
And it gets so much easier. After that first time,
comes really fast.
When you deal with the kind of thing we dealt with, and everybody kind of probably has a similar story, maybe not an exact story, but a similar story with someone or some group of people that they thought were their friends and they weren't. Once you deal with that once, everything after that becomes so easy because you know how hard that was. Right. And if you're starting to feel uncomfortable with someone, you just have to take action on it. You do. You have to keep yourself comfortable in your own space.
Yeah,
always.
Definitely.
I don't agree with like blasting things all over the interwebs and making a public spectacle out of it either. In fact, Devyn and I are very behind the scenes kind of people. And out of respect for those people, even if they disrespect us, even that action is still out of respect for them.
Right.
We're not interested in blasting them and getting them ousted from whole groups of communities because we didn't get along.
Right.
We just want to remove them from ours. And if that removing them from ours is good enough, unless it's something really, really bad, like illegal or whatever.
Dragon.
But like,
so true.
We do it quietly out of respect for them because we always show that respect to people, whether we get it back or not. It's
so much easier to be nice.
It's
you
so
have
much
to think
easier.
So much harder to be a butthead.
Yep.
Butthead.
Even for those people. Yep. We smile. We thank them. We treat them with respect because they're a person that's sharing our space, and we move on, even if they don't do it to us. Always.
I appreciate that. I really do. And I'm grateful that you brought that up because I think a lot of that does happen in this space. Especially like the more, like the deeper involved you get in, like the more people you get to know, the potential for that happens. Right. And so, I appreciate that, like calling out that respect for, like, regardless of, what happened, that respect for those other people. I've been in situations like that as well. And I try, I try to be very much behind the scenes as well, where it's like, if something happens, just keep it, like, I don't like airing out things, in front of everyone. There's no reason to. And it's it ends up being very malicious, when, like, regardless of who did what, right? Like, it can stay between those people. And so
it also gives attention to the very thing you're trying to remove from your community and starts to give it attention, not just in your stream, but in your Discord and all the surrounding communities.
Yeah.
Like
well, if you have to start a message, like, not to be dramatic or not to be overstepping, or if you have to start it with the not word, just don't write it. Don't.
Yeah. You may as well not.
If you need a disclaimer before you put something on, what is it, X, Twitter,
whatever,
anywhere, Facebook, anything. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't put it. If you need a disclaimer, that should be your brain signaling saying, probably should just keep this one in,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like there's a lot of that in our space because our space is small and people are very fortunate in our space to be involved in communities like ours and yours and whatnot, where they see like constant respect and constant support and just good people and good content, etc. But people like to just extrapolate out like the art and maker space is so different from the rest of Twitch. It isn't. You're just fortunate to be a part of the part of it that is.
Yeah.
And like we aren't different than the gaming sphere. People want to separate us from the gaming, and I don't like that mentality because we are the same in a lot of ways. We're just smaller right now, but our mentality should be that it's newer, it is smaller now, but together we're going to grow it to those sizes. That's a big pillar of what we believe in, is that we're participating in the change we want to see, and we're helping make the art and making spaces bigger and bigger and bigger, and they've gotten way bigger. Yeah. Like since we started, I mean, even if we just look at the Lego sphere, since we started, look at all of our Lego friends that've gotten partnered.
Oh man.
Since we've gotten partnered, there's been half a dozen I can name right away.
Yeah.
That got partnered. And that's without even thinking about it. And that just wasn't happening. And that's a testimony to the growth of our communities, because it's the communities that allow and enable that to happen, and growth that change is happening. And I don't like to put us in this box that we're art and making and we're small and we're just going to be small.
Here in a small corner.
I want to bridge that gap. I want to be what we call ourselves a just chatting stream, where all the other creative things are happening around us, but maybe not necessarily on stream. Right. And we want to bridge that gap and reach those levels, because when we do, all of the art and making spaces, stand to benefit in a big way from it. Yeah. And that's what's been happening. Even if people don't really believe it's been happening, it's happening. You can't really deny it with what you see happening with all the partnered streamers. Really, that's just that example alone shows the growth.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for calling that out, because I agree that our space as like makers, crafters, now that Lego also has its own category, like we're no different than the greater part of Twitch. I just think it's harder to see because we're also like so much more tighter knit. But as you said, the partner, like more and more partners are becoming, like there's more and more partners in the group, as well as those like communities like mine. Like my community is not huge, but it's definitely grown over the years. There's been more awareness around Lego and makers and crafting over the last several years, that we're starting to see just a wider swath of people being involved, whether it be as streamers or as viewers and community people. So it's definitely really interesting to hear your perspective on it. And one of the things I really appreciate about your community and what you two do is, from day one, when I first started seeing your streams, it is really all about sharing what everyone else is up to, getting those people out there, putting others' creations in front of the wider community. So I think that's really, I think for me, as someone who has been tangentially like involved with your streams and watching them over, now years, what I really appreciate is this goal, or what that's the core of what you do, is getting everyone involved and giving everyone the opportunity to share what they do, because I think that's one of the things that really fuels the growth in the space. So yeah, I really appreciate.
It's the most important thing to us. It really is. Like we don't come to stream. We have what we're working on, and for the shop drop that we just did, like it was way more important to get some work done. But we don't come to stream. Presents. Yeah,
I care right now.
Yeah. So, Derek has to read chat for Devyn portion of the stream so Devyn can get her Christmas gifts done. Anyways.
I only give myself a week. Okay? I need to get them done.
We don't come to stream ever really expecting that we're going to work on those things. That work is mostly off stream because we care most about the vibe of that interaction and creating that interaction and just providing that space for the interaction.
Yeah.
And we'll forego it for, I mean, chat chooses it's going to be a gaming day all the time through our gaming redeems. And we choose our own gaming days too. We aren't just art and making streamers like yourself. We do a ton of gaming, more gaming than I think people realize. Honestly, because we break it up in the middle of our streams and not just necessarily have all day gaming streams all the time.
Yeah.
But like we come to the table to just provide that fun and creative energy and let the chips fall where they may that day. Maybe some days it's people are a little more into their work or they're busy at work or whatever, and we get a little more work done. And then there's some days I don't touch the thing I actually tried to work on. That happened 3 days this past week. I didn't touch it. I have a wallet that's cut here. I was supposed to cut this on Monday. And I cut it, I think, yesterday on Friday. Like, I just didn't work. And that's fine. I had a great time, and so did chat. And that's what matters.
I can relate. I have this Lego set that I started like over a week ago. And I've been in this mood lately. Like, we're just going to play games. We're going to relax. Yeah. And I've been hanging out and doing that and haven't touched. I've been actually doing that more and more, I think, since Thanksgiving. And maybe that's just kind of time of the year. I want to focus more on just kicking in a game than building a Lego set. And that's just, talking about black and white versus gray, right? Where, a long time, like if you asked folks a year ago what this channel was, it was mostly Lego at the time and crossing the streams when I fit it in. Now I think if I look at it, it's probably more like gaming's like 60% of it, just because that's how I feel right now. Will it be that way in a month or two? Probably not. It might go another way. And that's just kind of how over, like you two, I've been streaming for a while, and the balance of what is on the channel changes from every couple months. And that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So.
And I think
it's better to be that way from the beginning than it is to stay one way for 4 years and then change.
Yeah.
It will be a lot harder to have your community, flow into that than just doing what you feel like from the start.
Right. Like, I know for sure that we have been provided the space from our community to do whatever it is we want that day, and they'll be there and show up, and that, knowing that we have that freedom as content creators is a big reason I know we can do this full time forever.
Yeah.
Because if it were any other way, the burnout would be so real so fast. And maybe not now, but when the burnout happened, it would happen quick and fast, and it'd be really tough to recover. But I know we can do whatever. And Devyn's right. We built it that way from the start. Yeah. And, we used to have a Friday gaming stream. We had a couple of drinks. We'd play games every Friday. We got rid of that, obviously, when Devyn got pregnant for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. We got rid of the drinking. And rather than get rid of gaming completely, we brought it in to our everyday streams with redeems and whatnot. And then once in a while, a stream where we just do all games. And now we probably play more games now than we ever did doing a full stream of gaming.
Right.
Because now we just take breaks in the middle of our 6 hours and do that. And we especially do it when, maybe there's distractions with the baby and this and that. Oh, so yeah. It's
if our content was related or our viewers were solely interested in one thing, then having a child on stream could have been the end of our career.
Yeah.
We're very lucky. Well, especially me. I feel very blessed that I can raise my family and still do what I love to do, and our friends and community still show up.
Yeah.
That's like huge.
We've just always changed things, like for a while we played only Fall Guys. I mean, there was the whole Fall Guys saga with Devyn trying to get a crown, and then Devyn got her crown. She's like, I hate this game. We're never playing it again. She doesn't actually hate it. That was me being dramatic, like I always am. Dramatic. But like, I hate this game. We're never playing again. And then we basically never really did play it again.
Right.
Not for a while. We didn't play it. And
That's
then,
incredible.
we played only Pummel Party for like 4 months every Friday. And then we were
And then
like,
Minecraft.
and then we played it like, well, we play Minecraft's
still
our
play
most streamed game.
Minecraft.
That's one we've always come back to.
Mm,
But like, you go through those ebbs and flows and you got to embrace them. If that's what you're feeling as the streamer, you have to embrace it.
yeah.
And like Devyn said, the earlier you do that in your streaming career, the better for the longevity of your streaming career.
Yeah.
Because you're introducing that variety and that person yourself to your community from the start. And man, it can hurt so much if you're doing Lego only, and then now you want to play Destiny, and your chat's dead, and no one wants to watch you play Destiny. Like
exactly.
that can hurt your mental
that exact scenario has happened to people, actually.
Yeah.
I know. I've used it because I know that's what you do. And it's
well, I think about for the Lego streamers in particular, like their hobby is very expensive, and they may not be bringing in that income to support the Legos alone. So if you're coming to stream 3 times a week just to do Lego, supporting that hobby is really expensive. And eventually, like, you can't keep up with it. Even if it's just once a week, a new Lego set, or, once every 2 weeks, it's really expensive.
Yeah. It's difficult.
And one thing I like about Lego too, though, is that every Lego stream is actually a combination of a couple of different passions. And because it's not just Lego, it's the kind of Lego you're building. And that kind of Lego could be a whole other nerdom that you're into. It could be Lego and Star Wars, or Lego and Harry Potter. And that's cool to me about Lego, is that you actually can do multiple passions, or share multiple passions or things you enjoy at the same time doing Lego. That's cool. That's really cool. I like that about Lego.
That definitely applies to me, because I think that for me, I generally build 3 types of Lego. It's either Star Wars, Marvel, or like their like creator icon sets, which are like anything from like, things like the typewriter, or like interesting objects that you can build.
The camera, I remember.
The camera. I've done a bunch of those sets, but generally what's interesting about that is you do notice the difference of people who do like share those fandoms with you, or those interests. You'll like I've noticed over that time, right, when I will get more of those Star Wars fans when I'm building a Star Wars set, or like I'm building the latest Marvel thing. I see certain other people because of it, and that's just an interesting call out there, that you have these different categories of.
Listen, we're all nerds about different things, and those nerds want to talk about that nerdom. You know what I mean? And they know if you're building, Star Wars, then that's just obviously a very open door to talk about Star Wars while you're building Star Wars. And that's our just chatting environment with art. We can go any direction with that, and sometimes it's more focused because we're also doing nerd related art for other people, and then we bring in more people, and then we embarrass ourselves because we don't know anything about pop culture. And it's just that's the cool thing about it. We're all, I just love how nerdy we could all be and be celebrated for it, because we've all been ridiculed for it. Out in our space in real life, every single one of us. I don't think there's a single person that's on Twitch that hasn't been bullied, hurt, ridiculed, or some way, shape, or form, in some way, shape, or form, for being a nerd. But we all could be nerds and call each other nerds lovingly here, and it's amazing. I love that about this space.
Absolutely. You hit a little bit on burnout, and how keeping things fresh and different help you deal with burnout, or switching it up. What other insight do you have when it comes to that, for those of us who are, working really hard at either building our craft in art, or streaming, or just trying to do something, and then we kind of feel that burnout sink in? What would you tell them?
I'm so bad at answering this.
Well, we're both bad. We're both bad at answering this because
I truly have never experienced burnout.
Yeah, I more speak about burnout because of our experiences within our community and our friends and the people we know. We're versed in it because of the people around us more so than we are ourselves.
But I think you need to find what fills your cup and do that every single day.
Right.
Find something small. And I'm not saying like traveling fills your cup, so do that every day. Right. Like, you need to have something small. Suppose it's reading a book or watching your show at night or making a chocolate chip cookie after dinner. Something small like that. Find that one thing that gets you excited and fills your cup and do it every single day.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and I think streaming for us most days, for the most part, does fill our cup because we're doing what we love in a lot of different ways.
Well, not only that, but everybody else is filling our cup. Obviously, like we have times where the community is going through something hard and that's tough. But man, like every single day, people are coming into chat to share the things that are happening in their life that they're proud of, that they want to celebrate, that they're excited about. And how can you not just have your cup filled every single day, hearing about all of the amazing things that your friends who are surrounding you every day, what they're doing? Like it's really difficult to be like, man, I feel really down or I'm feeling really burnt out when every single day we're recharged by this hype and excitement.
And that's not for everybody. That's not everybody. And this is why I say that it's hard for us to comment ourselves. Our comments on that are more because of what we've experienced with our friends, and they come to us for advice and we do our best to help them in any way, shape we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're so fortunate because we're coming to stream together. This environment that Devyn and I have here in our basement is like our childhood. It really is. You could sit us in this basement with nothing, absolutely nothing. And Devyn and I, like our whole lives, will find a way to entertain the hell out of ourselves for 6 hours. We've been stuck in cars for longer than that, or airplanes for longer than that, and with nothing but each other. We really are best friends, and we now get to live our lives out, spending that time with each other in that childlike, that air of just freeness that we had as children. Now we're adults, and we have a lot of adult responsibilities, and we take them on. But like what we get to do here is so natural because like we did this our whole lives, being able to just have fun with whatever it was.
Being in a career path in general of one that everybody told me that I can't do. Like I literally gave up on this career path.
Art, that is.
Art, yes, not streaming. Art and becoming an artist, that was like my goal. I dropped every elective through high school and I took every art class. Then I graduated high school early and went to college early for art and all this stuff. And I gave up on it because I was so tired, and I put it into my own head that of the starving artist mentality. So now I'm in doing exactly what I was told that I couldn't, and what filled my cup for my entire life. And now I get to do it every day for hopefully for the rest of my life.
And also told you can't do your career while also being a full-time mom.
Well, yeah, I mean, aren't you constantly being told you can't?
You get to do now, and Ray gets to be here, and like Devyn says, I don't have a lot of pictures with Ray, but like we have film every single day. It's in a small way. She's not constantly on stream or anything like that, of Ray growing up, and we don't ever have to even feel like we have to stop interacting with Ray because it's all just there. We have it. And it makes the, everything just so organic. I don't have to be like, wait, let's stop, hold her there. Let me grab my phone. And it's just there. It's just happening naturally and organically in front of everybody. And we get to have it forever. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to live out this future with our family. But it's not like that for everyone. And you have to take time for yourself. But you have to be careful about how you take that time, because you take time, and then if you take too much time, you've hurt your momentum and you've lost your consistency, and the viewers you had, they don't maliciously replace you, but you were live at this time and now someone else is. And so they're looking to fill that time slot in their schedule. and they watch other people, and you have to really find that difficult balance. And a couple people have said it in chat, the self-awareness of understanding what's going on with you. Because pushing through it is dangerous, as is taking too much time off. If growth and succeeding long term and full-time streamer is your goal, taking too much time away is, I mean, it's really scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. And that could lead to burnout on both sides. Either taking the time off could lead to that burnout, or you come back feeling like you're refreshed, and all of a sudden you realize your momentum's gone, and then it falls off a cliff from there.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing to balance. It's a scary thing as a streamer. And it's not something that's lost on us, even if we don't suffer from it, because we manage a very large, at least in our network, and thriving community of people that rely on us for that guidance, and rely on us and trust us to come to us in confidence and have those conversations and try to help. And you got to recognize what's happening and do the things you need to do for yourself, while also still being there for the community who wants to be there for you too.
Well, especially doing the things that you want to do for yourself. That's like everything. You're a streamer, and you are in control of your stream. Don't do something that you're tired of doing and cause yourself burnout.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're tired of doing something, that's the first sign that this is going to burn you out if you continue doing it. So stop. Do something else. Do something that gets you excited again. And then maybe you'll return to it again. Maybe you'll go back to it. Obviously, if this is a commission, you're a full-time artist, like, you got to finish the commission. But
right.
You know what I mean.
Take the time where you can. If you gotta. Yeah.
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 Change it up.
I appreciate that insight. So
it's really hard. It's really, really hard. That part of this is really hard.
Difficult. It's definitely difficult. And I think a lot of what we do as creators, we love what we do so much. We spend so much time in it, and then we forget to take the time if we need to, like, recharge or just even step away for a brief amount of time. I think that's very difficult for some people, or even, switching it up, right? Like, because we're so invested in what we're doing. But yeah,
it's a really difficult thing to balance. I mean, you have to keep doing those things you love. Like I love video games. I play video games with Devyn. There's video games I play that I would never play with Devyn, like Tarkov, and I get to do that at night with the community. And I'm not doing it, I get to play those games with my friends, but it's also within the community and has grown our community, because there's so many people that play it now and stuff like that. Just stuff like that.
Derek especially could get hard on himself. Like, I'm not working, and get down on himself and be really hard on that. And it's like, I had to sit him down and be like, Derek, gaming with the community is something you love, and that's also networking. Just treat it as if that's working. Like, if you have to put it into your head that gaming with your friends is working through networking with the community, call it that. Yeah. And I think that actually changed some things. I think he's actually been a little lighter.
That's awesome.
Doing that. This was years ago now, but
that's really
very
cool.
early on. It's not been like that for a while. But that's the beautiful thing, like, about
networking is so easy here. Yeah. Like, just find your friends and hang out with them.
Yeah,
like, you get to just hang out with people that you're hanging out with all the time, and get to do those things with them. And that just brings more and more people in to want to do those things as well.
Yeah. And that's what I love about collaborating on here, because a lot of it is just that, is like this show is really just having conversation and hanging out and talking about what we do. And I love that. That's why I've done so much of this, is because it's just, I don't think a lot of us do that, where we literally just sit down and we're like, hey, we're just going to talk about making what we make, right? Video content, streams, whatever it is. I love that. And then kicking back, playing games with the community members or other streamer friends is that's some of my favorite stuff to do on Twitch. And I really, just like you, feel like, at first I actually used to feel like Derek, where it was like, oh, should I play Destiny for like a stream when I was going to do a bunch of Lego this week? And then, for those who have seen, that is what I started doing more of, because it really just helped. And it was just another way of connecting with those people and, the community. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. The one way, like the one thing that does help me disconnect is like I'm connected when I'm at a computer. I'm not connected at my phone at all. You will not see me on Twitch, rarely in Discord at all. Like it's a meme that my phone is always dead, but also my phone is like literally always dead. It's dead, it's silent. I sometimes, and not sometimes, like 50% of the time I don't know where my phone is. So if I get up from my desk, I'm disconnected.
Yeah.
And that's where my balance does come from. I where am I at right now? 28%. That's pretty high for what it normally is. Legitimately. I get up from my desk and I am no longer connected to the internet.
Yeah.
Basically. And that's been another way that I've had balance in it for me.
I love that. It's good to do sometimes too.
Yeah, I love it. I love when my phone's dead. I don't charge it.
Yeah.
I won't charge it for hours.
Yeah.
Because I actually like when it's dead.
Yeah.
When I feel like I could just not be contacted.
It's nice from time to time. I've definitely made a point to leave my phone at my desk and walk away from it.
Yeah.
This has been incredible. We'll wrap up here pretty soon. But really quickly, what's next for you and the community, and what you are trying to do for the future?
Well, I guess we're looking towards, 2025 and all the events that are coming next year. But I think over the course of the next probably 2 to 3 years, we really want to make something we call the MoCoMakers, an actual website. So right now it's just this little section in the Discord where everybody can put their site if they want to. And it's kind of like a shopping, center where you can go and
approved artisan businesses.
Yeah. And see what people are making and go to their store and shop from them. Now, this has been a dream of Derek and I since pretty much the first year of streaming, that we wanted to create.
As soon as we saw this issue,
a website that consolidates everything, the best of Etsy, the best of Printful, the best of all of these sites, and put them together. So you could sell your merch, you could sell your art, you can show your stream, you can have your wish list, everything in one place. That is one of our huge goals.
Well, what happened that spawned that idea when we started is Ko-fi was the main problem. Ko-fi started it, and then others kind of came in and caused this problem. But
Ko-fi came after.
Yeah, but Ko-fi's what really highlighted the issue, because you could have it was basically like, here's my original art that's for sale on Ko-fi, and then you can buy my merch here at Fourth Wall, and then you can, and Fourth Wall is actually newer in this whole sphere, and then you can buy my art prints at what's one of the art prints? I'm drawing a blank.
I print.
Yeah, there's so many. So we wound up having these artists that were professional because they're selling and either full-time or going full-time, saying, I need you to go to 3 different places to support me and also pay shipping 3 times and stuff like that. Now, some of those times when it's print to order, you're going to pay shipping multiple times. But like, if you have to go to multiple places to buy something, you've just lost maybe the whole order, let alone some of the other. Like you might get one order for the one thing, but they're not going to all 3 stores to go shopping.
Yeah, it's too much
of a
hassle.
Lost. Yeah, you've lost an order, and that's why.
Also all the little trinkets that are on your site too. Like, hey, you might be a professional artist selling watercolors, but you also have keychains and you have magnets and pins, and somebody's not going to find those things if they're not all together.
Right.
And maybe like little add-ons to your order.
They might buy an original art piece, but they might want a t-shirt. But if they're not in the same place, they're buying one or the other, and they're not going to find these other things. They're not going to add on these smaller ticket items to grab some other things. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And like it's really something that has like, it's like, we want this website. It is something we want to do for the art and making space at large. It's one of the reasons we have ambitions for ambassador on Twitch, because we really believe getting Twitch involved in this this thing that we want to do to help us bring this art and making community together in one place. That we can help grow Twitch together. We could grow and help Twitch grow as a result by doing these things, right? And it's why when we share art, that like if someone says, I really like that, where can I buy it? We put the link right there in our chat. Yeah. We encourage the sale for an artist that's not us in our chat. And I don't know that you really see that anywhere else in this platform. I'm not aware of it happening anywhere. Yeah,
I don't see it.
Like where the artist and that's fair. They're professional. They're there to support their careers. I get that, but we want that sale to happen.
I mean, we're not selling crochet items.
No,
we're not. I mean, even every art form,
but even stuff we do sell.
Yeah, like
it's all the things. If someone says that's awesome, where can I get it? We know that if that link doesn't wind up in our chat, that sale has a 90% chance of not happening. If that sale has to move to a DM on Instagram, Discord, Twitch, etc., and doesn't happen right there in our chat, that artisan probably lost that sale.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why our community now has over 4,500 sales for small businesses since April of 2023, because we encourage that environment every single day. And it's really important, in my opinion, to capitalize on the sale when the inspiration for the buying is present. And that's why the MoCo makers would be such a big deal, because we saw this big issue developing where these artists were in so many different places. And it's like, I want to support you, but I can't put 3 website URLs in a chat. Now it just looks like spam in my chat and try to support you.
Yeah.
Like people don't even know which one to click on. And then they click on one, there's like, well, that doesn't have the t-shirt I was trying to buy. Oh, you got to go here.
Or this is the original art, and now here's the prints of that original art. It's like, we need to get them.
We realized very quickly that there was a big problem.
More sales.
That there was a big problem for the small artisan businesses. And that's why we created the MoCo Makers in our Discord, but why we've always had these ambitions to create this website that will be the end all be all for small artisan businesses and truly support small artisan businesses. Unlike Etsy is now, where it's become a corporation.
Yeah.
And because that's what Etsy used to be. When we started on Etsy, I had to prove via a picture and a tag and a piece of paper that I made the product.
Yeah.
And we want to bring that back, but do it in a way bigger and more robust fashion with all things creation in content and in art. And
it's going to be a big undertaking.
It's a big undertaking, mostly legally, if I'm being honest. The legal portion of that is actually the hardest part.
Right.
Protections on us for providing that space, even though transactions that are not us are happening, is the biggest thing to consider and figure that out. But that's our big ambitions for the future of MoCo. But the going into the new year, our biggest things. We have our big events, and we're trying to land sponsors to make them even bigger.
Well, we have the PP Energy, which is what Leela was talking about. That's a event where we just showcase the entire community. So for this year, it's going to be a month long, and we are going to attempt. How many sales are we going to attempt?
Well, this past year, April 2024, we did 2,165 sales.
So I think our goal was 3,000 sales over that month.
Yeah, it's basically a small business promotion. It's a massive giveaway event.
In April.
It's a massive giveaway event, but not an event to give away things just for the hell of giving them away. It's a giveaway event to spotlight artists, spotlight their content, spotlight their websites, and drive traffic to them and generate sales.
Yeah, and every day there were several hundred sales happening. Every single day.
Our goal was 500 this past year. So we quadrupled that.
And then for in the summer, I think we're doing July.
Mid-July.
Last year, as a community, we raised over $60,000 for St. Jude. And this year, we want to raise $100,000. So that's a huge goal. And then we'll do MoCoCon number 2.
Yeah, we did our first ever in-person con event.
And we're hoping to have like 100 people. That would be pretty cool. Or double than we had last year. Something like that. Those are the goals of MoCo and the future, 2025, 2026. The big
thing that we've struggled, the one that haven't gotten over the hump yet is sponsors. And even as large and thriving as our small community is, we haven't been able to land sponsors. And we know that sponsors it's hard because of the part of Twitch that we're in. It's not what they're used to. They're not used to live content in general, let alone, art and making content and not gaming content. So it's really hard to convince them that we're worth investing in. But we're hoping that by presenting these big events that really have made waves on Twitch, that we're able to land some sponsors that will make those events way bigger. But getting our foot in the door with those sponsors will change the whole landscape for other art makers too. Because we know we can do them right. They just have to give us a chance.
Yeah.
And once we're given that chance, we know that we'll prove that we were worth investing in. And then they'll see, oh, there are lots of other people doing this on the platform. We should invest in other people. And that's our big 2025 goal. Those big events, but making those events even bigger because we've landed sponsors to help promote them, maybe even donate items to give away to, or even donate themselves to.
I want to answer this really quick.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered private investors? We have been contacted and approached about investment in MoCoMade and in Derek and I. But if we're being honest, taking on someone that would have any sort of decision power in MoCoMade would be tough because Derek and I are as tight as we could get. So even when we disagree, we can come to an agreement. And we are always going to have more of a percentage.
I love that we disagree. Disagreeing is really important because we bring different perspectives to the table.
But what I'm saying is bringing on somebody else, they're never going to be heard.
Yeah. Let's say we brought in, just for if we just look at this like a business perspective, let's say someone came in and got 33% of our company. No matter what, they could never make a decision because Devyn and I will be 66%, even though we're each individually 33%. No investor wants that, nor should they. And we don't want that either because now we brought an investor.
They do that when Derek and Devyn are unrelated. And
right. No. I meant in our specific situation.
As as we are.
We're not actually 33% of that equal partnership.
Correct.
We're 66% because we're essentially one entity.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean we agree, but we will agree to move forward. It's a 66%.
Because while money is amazing and would propel some things forward in areas, it's not what we need. It wouldn't be a fair partnership, even if they thought it was. Even if they said, I don't care. I don't need to make any decisions. Right. I just want to support.
As soon as they disagreed with something, which they would, at some point they would disagree with something we were doing, and then it would become a big problem.
Yes.
And it's not something we want to do. And anyone who has approached us is also a friend and a community member, and we don't want to sour those relationships either. And that's why we've not really entertained any of that. But everybody is investing in our community and our business by participating in it. Yeah. Everyone is. Absolutely. And that's what we've told them in the end. Like what you're doing now is investing in this future that you want to see from us. And we're going to get there as long as you keep investing in it, in whichever ways you can. The most valuable and the quickest is the time. But there's obviously a money aspect to this because we are full time. And as long as you keep investing in it and more people come in and keep investing in it, it will get to those spots and we will have the control without feeling like we've controlled someone else.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing all these things come to fruition over the next year and beyond. That's incredible. There's a lot of great stuff it sounds like you guys are doing, and it all makes sense, especially if you are someone who has been involved with your community. Kind of just know that everything you've described just makes complete sense for what you've already been doing and working towards for the future. So I think that's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I really want to thank you too for everything you've done for the makers community here on Twitch. It's been incredible between just fostering a wonderful community and highlighting several other creators in our space. It's been an amazing thing to watch from, my position over the years, seeing you two do that and just growing the community overall. Thank you for this. We could go all day. And
absolutely.
And as much as I would like to, I want to be respectful. We're already over what I said we would do. So thank you so much. I
knew that would happen. I would have called that.
Yeah. Man, if you're listening or watching this episode, please follow MoCoMade. Follow Devyn and Derek. They're incredible. I I love what you all do. Your community is amazing, and it sounds like there's only so many other things that are going to be coming online over the next, year and beyond. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time. This has been incredible. I've gotten to hear some incredible insight about what you two do and how you see this whole thing. So thank you for that. It's been incredible. So
thank you.
No, thank you.
We're going to spend many more years together on this platform.
Yes,
right?
we are.
Participating in that change.
Too many fruitful and coffee.
Yes. Cheers.
Together.
This has been great. What I do like to do is I always leave it to the guests to close out the show, and you can close it out any way you want. It can be advice, thoughts, perspective on what we've talked about today, or something you didn't get to say, or shouting out whoever you'd like to, whatever you'd like to do. But the floor is yours for these final moments of this episode. So thank you once again, Devyn and Derek. Now it's on you.
I was not expecting this.
Go Eagles. We both wore Eagles. We both wore Eagles stuff today for some reason. I don't even know why, but no.
It's our raid message.
In all seriousness, though, like I just Twitch is not a perfect place, but it is an amazing one, and it's gotten better and better and better each week and month that we've been here, even through some of the stuff that's not been so great. And I just want to remind people to keep their heads up through the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, because so much positive change has happened in the course of our 4 years here. And I want everybody to remember that they're participating in that. Even if they're not optimistic about the prospects, because there's a lot of people, especially in the early days in our chat, saying you can't get partner, but they were there literally giving us a view that helped us get to partner. But I just want people to keep their heads up and to remember that they're participating in the change they want to see. And the more they believe in their soul and manifest that they are participating in that change they want to see and that growth they want to see in our spaces on Twitch, the easier and the faster it will happen. And that's what I want people to truly believe, because we talk about manifesting a lot. But you got to actually believe it, like in your soul. There can't be this doubt, like, yeah, I think it'll happen. No, like you have to know it's happening. It's happening today. It's happening tomorrow. And it's happening next month. And it will. The big thing will happen years down the line. But you have to believe in it. And I want the more and more people that really do believe that, the faster we're going to see this place explode the way we know it can eventually. And that's what we want for this space. And that's why we do what we do.